What's up, you guys? Your boy D Money Man back at it again. I just want to say that today we're gonna be doing a review of The Boys Season 5, Episode 4 review. Without further ado, let's get into it. So with the story, now the story here goes off as the boys head to the Fort Hampton seeking V1, but tensions flare within the group. Homelander and Soldier Boy arrive with the same goal. Back at VAR, writers brainstorm ways to rebrand Homelander as a deity for public consumption. It's basically it on the episode story-wise, and I just want to say that this episode is pretty alright. It's pretty okay episode, pretty solid episode, but the episode after this is basically just complete filler, which is, even then, it's like on the technical side because, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it's on the technical side because Firecracker dies in that episode, and then she doesn't show up in those later episodes. So, technically that would be canon, or at least that scene is canon. Otherwise, everything else is basically just straight up filler. But yeah. But without further ado, let's dive into the likes. Butcher sold Ryan movies. Now guys, Butcher and Ryan had bonding time over the course of the show, and turns out that he actually sold them movies and whatnot. And I just found that to be very good that they bond, because, even though Butcher is not really his dad, that's Homelander's son, but, same wife, so, kind of like stepdad or a like really close father figure getting together, knowing their son. Annie's dad, Starlight's dad, he's pretty good in this episode, and turns out that he was basically, he left because his wife, I should say, was making it seem like God chose her, like she was the chosen one from God, and that's why she got these powers and whatnot. And then, obviously that's not true. Mom went ahead and put V in her blood, compound V, and I want her to be a superhero and stuff like that, and like pushing, like one of those classical parental things, like wanting to push your kid to do something, to seem like either for something to like brag about or for, their own personal gain and narrative. And that's what she basically did to Starlight. So after that, he really didn't fuck with that, so he just left, basically, and just didn't show back up. And turns out she got a little brother who is a pro-Homelander, so yeah, that was not good. He called her a terrorist and everything, and she was gonna talk to him in his room, and then he found a whole bunch of posters of Soups. I think, what's her name from Soldier Boy's Payback team? I think her name was Red Crimson or something like that. And Queen Maeve, of course, was on there, and I don't know, just a whole bunch of female Soups was on that wall. And then she saw some lotion and tissue, and you already know what that alludes to. I knew they were gonna make that joke. And then, he was like, I don't have you on there. And then she was like, thank God for that. And I was like, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But hey, I knew they were gonna make a joke like that, so But yeah. The Deep eat sushi. Now guys, the Deeps eat some sushi, and I feel like this way out of character for him, because he actually does respect ocean life and the oceans, like the fish and all the other stuff, but he literally has like sex with an octopus in one of the episodes. So for him to eat sushi is like honestly still completely out of character and totally whack. Character assassination right there. Soulja Boy doesn't like to be carried. Now guys, Soulja Boy doesn't ultimately like to be carried because he doesn't like when people fly and they need to carry him to get over to that location. I understand it, but I just find it to be a funny joke they went on about. But alright, y'all, let's head into the dislikes of this episode and this thing as a whole. Because the thing I dislike about it is that they are trying to make Homelander to become a god. Or he thinks he is a god. Let me clarify that. He thinks he is a god. I understand why he thinks like that, because, Bo is basically depowered Superman, basically. But it's like, why you have to do that? Why you have to set him up to make him think that he's like this big god and he's trying to take over everything and make America global and whatnot. Like, why? It's just why you have to do that? I don't agree with that, ever so slightly, and neither does Firecracker and Soulja Boy. And a little bit of Old Father. He doesn't agree with that either. But yeah, I feel like that's not good. That's I'm not really with the whole Homelander becoming God stuff. Or like trying to play God. Like, no, that's not cool, man. That's not cool. But yeah, guys, really a lot to say about The Boys Season 5 Episode 4 review. It's your boy D Money, and see you guys in the next video. D Money out.